suction cup, rotate, and it locks.
Angle it.
Shags, I guess you'll be GPS.
I guess so.
Take a look. 0.4 miles.
Can you please do it in a British accent?
No, I can't.
Do you want the male or the female version?
I would prefer the female. I always prefer the female. All right, no, see, that wasn't female enough. that was quite uncomfortable. I hope for the both of us. I would rather never ever hear you say "suck my nipples" again.
Oh, well, make sure I see.
All right, I'm off the team.
What? You kicked yourself off?
Yeah.
On record as being puts it.
Yeah.
How do you know? Because I see a black screen.
It's meant to.
Is this thing on? Can you tell me this technology?
What up, Para-heads? We on the way to the Olde Park Hotel in Ballinger, Texas.
Here he goes with
This
his
is
intro.
the crew. Huck and Tina are gonna join us eventually. What do y'all think? How y'all feeling about this?
I feel pretty good. I think that, honestly, I believe that we will scare them more than they will scare us, because we're bringing Ronald McDonald with us today, and that's got to scare anyone.
They're not ready. They're not ready.
But the first ghost is going to be like, yeah, I would like fries and a kid's meal.
I got your fries right here.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty stoked.
I've been in contact with Dylan from Contra Valley Paranormal as well as JP from Just Paranormal, and they both said that this place is definitely on the top of their list. They've all had, all their teams have had some crazy experiences there, so I don't know, let's see what's up.
Turn left onto South 6th Street, then the destination is on your left.
Oh, this is 6th Street, right here. Right there.
That's it. That's the space. That's it right there.
Now the history is really interesting. When we bought this place, the first thing obviously I wanted to find out was everything about Ballinger, everything about this place. So I started researching, started digging up everything. All these photos that you see are like old Ballinger and also the hotel, but also a lot of the people that have been associated with this building. Now what I've uncovered from history is that even though Ballinger was formed legally in 1886, the buildings were already here. A lot of it was already here.
Okay.
But it basically took on its name of Ballinger, named after this judge. He's actually out of Galveston. And what's funny about him is the man never lived here in Ballinger a day in his life. All he did was pump money into this town, so they were like, oh, we'll name it after him.
Yeah.
And what happened in 1886 was what's interesting is the railroad system decided to swing out west, and it was called the Santa Fe, Colorado, and Gulf Railroad Company. This is Runnels County. This is what you call Runnels, R-U-N-N-E-L-S. Back in the day, Runnels County, Ballinger wasn't here. Now the interesting thing about Runnels City is that, again, it's the only picture we have to show of any people or buildings or whatever that I found up to this point. This is all that exists to Runnels City now. This is a little marker on the side of the highway.
Wow.
Just like highways now, if you divert a highway away from a town, it's going to die.
Yeah.
So back in the day, Texas, all the towns were established by railroad systems. If a railroad chose your town would grow and it would flourish. If the railroad bypassed you, you would die. And that's what happened. Now what I dug up was from this wall to this wall, going upstairs to the curtain. Couldn't figure out, there were a lot of rumors flying around from older people in town. They were like, this building came from Runnels City. That town that isn't there anymore.
Right.
So we started digging up, and we did confirm that, yeah, this part of this building was taken from pieces of buildings that came from Runnels City.
Wow.
So there's a good possibility that we can't date this part, but there's a good possibility that this part is older than this part.
Right.
And this part is pretty old.
How old is that confirmed to the other part?
We can date back to 1886 on this,
86.
but that's as far as we can go for records.
Okay.
We've had people walking in looking at our architecture in there, people that have older homes, and they said our architecture matches about 1870. We've also dug up records. There's a record up on the wall that this building, there's good evidence that it was the first school in Ballinger. You know, when we got this place, we started spotting a lot of child spirits in here. There's about 4 or 5 child spirits. The building didn't really take on the hotel shape until 1922. When the Keel family moved in here, K-E-E-L. Now the brothel, this went through many different changes. This town, this is where it's funny, and a lot of towns don't want to admit this stuff. This per se was a very religious town. And a lot of Texas towns are like that. A lot of churches, a lot of church influence and everything.
Yeah.
Well, when this town got created in 1886, it had a lot of ruffians running through here and a lot of outlaws. This town had about 14 saloons in it.
Wow.
It was also rumored to have 3 or 4 brothels. And they won't admit it, but this was a brothel, and the building on the other side of the courthouse was also a brothel.
Wow.
And the third one was somewhere back that way.
The most recent thing this was an antique store.
Yeah.
And most recent from that.
It basically started off as Cowboy Lodging in the very beginning, when the railroad got going. Right after Cowboy Lodging, it became the brothel, the first one. Okay. It was a brothel twice. Basically, the first one went down. Then we also think it took on the form of that. I think what they were doing was they were running the hotel as the Three Sisters, and they were doing the brothel behind the scene.
Yeah.
I think literally that's what they were raising money.
That makes sense.
And that's where all the rumors in town. There's very strong rumors.
Right.
And you know, it's one of those things where you can tell the town tried to keep the hush hush.
So you could stay in the room by yourself or pay extra to have company.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Sneak the women in, and we always get numbers coming back at 15. So we think there's 15 brothel women.
Wow.
Yeah. Now the second brothel, it went through different changes, and obviously it was a hotel. It was also a music store at one point. But the family that bought the place, the Keels in the 20s, they ended up selling it at one point because World War II came around. And when World War II came around, they left for a while. Actually, they left before World War II. He went to war then. They ended up going up to Maine. Then they came back down here in the 50s, and the place was for sale again. They decided to rebuy it and put it back in. When they rebought it, men were walking in here saying, "Where are the women?"
Oh.
So we think the first brothel was in the front, the second brothel was in the concrete part later on.